All right. Part 2. Fuel tank removal. It's pretty straightforward. I always look in the book, everything I'm going to do to it. This is the kind of vehicles it covers. Buick Skyhawk, Cadillac Cimarron, Cavalier, Oldsmobile Firenza, and Pontiac Sunbird. It's all the same platform. Let's see, disconnect the battery, we did. Raise it and support it, did. Drain it. I don't believe there's no more than less than a quarter tank in that, so it's not going to be too awful heavy. Let's see, detach the tank meter, assembly harness, the wiring harness. There may be a ground wire going to the body. Disconnect the hoses, unplug the sensing unit, electrical connector, support it and lower it. Very simple, very simple. I've already got the tools out here. I don't want to have to get up and run back and forth to the garage. So let's do it. Let's do it. This thing is dried real good. I got everything clean. I didn't think I'd have enough room for my creeper, but I believe I do. I was going to use this old pool toy right here. That's pretty comfortable, low profile. But I'm going to try to use the creeper. Got a couple of flashlights and I got an assortment of tools we might need. All right, let's go under. Oh God, I gotta get back in shape. And I've got the car supported real good too. I got them wheels wedged under there, under that real hard part of the bumper, in case anything happens. All right, straightforward. Here's the filler neck and the vent. Got to unhook this. This is coming from the fuel pump, fuel filter, to the front of the engine. Well, that sounds good. I'm going to unhook it here and pull the filter and everything out with it, because of course we're going to replace the fuel filter. We've got these filler hoses. I want to unhook them here and pull them out with the tank. The wiring harness is right here. Unplug this wire. That's going to the fuel pump assembly and sending unit. That's just brake lines up there. And the straps holding the tank on, you got one on each side. It's a 15 millimeter. It goes right behind that fuel filter. It's got a bolt that goes up through a threaded nut insert, so we don't have to get a wrench on top of it. All right. First thing I'll do is I'm going to unhook these so we can pull these down a little bit and get to that wiring harness. Unhook that. Unhook these. Let me grab my. Ooh, I can't reach it. All these hoses and everything are pretty obvious where they go, different sizes. But these two ain't so obvious. So what I'll do is put a mark on there, and I'll put 2 marks on this one. Ow, I just bumped my elbow. So that way we'll know where that goes. Man, this is uncomfortable down here. Yeah. I'm gonna undo the fuel filter last, because this is probably gonna dribble. I don't want to be working on all this other stuff in that nastiness. Let me fix my creeper. Ooh. This slab we're sitting on is kind of going downhill a little bit, and that's one reason I didn't want to use my creeper, because my creeper's creeping. That was my nickname in high school, the creeper. Let's see, we need an 8 millimeter. That's a 10. Yeah, 8 millimeter. Go ahead and get these undone. Okay. I don't know how easy or hard this is going to be. So what we'll do is take the channel locks here and just kind of break the traction. Break the seal a little bit. Oh boy, that's stiff. Wow. Let's see if we can move this hose clamp out of the way. Try not to damage the hose, but what I want to do is break the seal here and just kind of twist on it. Man, that is tough. Wow, I don't know how I'm ever going to get that off. Maybe better off trying to get it from the tank up there. Here, let me see about this small hose. This is just a tank vent when you're filling it up. It lets the air escape. Okay, the seal on that one's broke. Well, that is one stiff hose. Both of them are. Ooh. I should have took this thing to the shop and let Robbie do it, but I didn't feel like having it towed. Trying to be careful not to jostle this car too much. I might have to take this filler neck off and pull the filler neck out. It just kind of is held on here. And it screws in up there at the very top. Let's take this clamp off here. Let's see, what size is that going to be? Here's a 14. Nope, it's going to be a 13. Whew. I don't know if that's going to help us. I don't know. That's going to be a booger to get that off. I need to spray some WD-40 or something in it. Yeah, that's too stiff. Let me look out here real quick. We can pull the hard part out first. How does that go in there? We got this. It's kind of hard to tell how that comes off. Boy, you can smell that bad gas in there. Looks like you got 3 screws holding that on. Let's set this gas cap over here. Looks like you got 3 screws holding that on. Oh, you got a cover right there. Tell you what, let's do. Let me hit pause. I'm gonna go in there and get a big screwdriver, see if we just pry that thing. Y'all hang with. Okay, let's see. I went in there and got some WD-40. Spray a little bit in there. Let that be soaking in. See if we can just push it off with this big screwdriver somehow or another without damaging it. Yeah, that is one stiff hose. One stiff hose there. Scared I'm gonna damage it. I really am. Tell you what, let's do. I'm gonna take it off from up there. I believe that's probably gonna be about the best thing to do. Let me grab a 1/4 socket here. No, that's gonna be a 7mm. Ooh. That's the most exercise I've gotten in a long time. Let me grab a 7mm because we're gonna have to take that hard neck off there and pull it out from that rubber hose. That rubber hose is way too stiff to pull off that hard part. Hang with. I just walked in the shop to get this 7mm socket. I heard this rustle sound, and I got sprayed with something. I looked up and a big old bird flew in my shop and was running all around the ceiling, crapping all over me. I was like, golly, man. Talk about scared. We scared the crap out of both each other is what we did. All right, let's get this 7mm on here. Man, that'll wake you up. All right. Careful not to drop that thing down in there. All right, there's the 3 screws for that. We'll set these over here. There goes our fire truck. Okay, that's loose. What we'll do now is pull this cover off. I don't know what kind of creepy crawly is going to be inside of there, but we'll find out. Screw there, screw there. Just lost my socket. Okay, where's another screw? There's only 3 screws holding that on. Make sure ain't no creepies in there. It sure does look nasty. It looks creepy. Where's my flashlight? Ooh, that is creepy looking. Okay, now we can kind of move this around. Let's pull this piece of trim off right there. Let's see, how's that going to come off? Golly. I'm going to have to use a ratchet on that. Let me hit pause. Let me grab my ratchet. I'm going to see if that bird flew out of there yet. He done crapped all over everybody's lawnmowers. All right. You got to take these 2 out to get this cover off. And then you got 1, 2, and 3 to get the rest of it off. I'm going to do that. I ain't going to make you watch me do that because I can't hold the camera because I got the shorty tripod. So y'all hang with. Let me get these screws out. Yeah, that crazy bird's still in there. I guess this should come right out like that. Yeah. So there. I'm pulling all this out just to make it easy on me because I've got time. It is so nice not having 100 lawnmowers lined up to be worked on. Follow that screw. Okay, 1, 2, 3 screws. I know you probably don't have to go through all this, but I am. Because I can. Here we go. Ooh, boy, that is nasty. Set that right there. Oh, that is some creepiness. Ooh. Now we got control over this hard pipe right there. All right, back under we go. Yeah, let's see if that helps us. Ow, I keep bumping my head. All right, we got to get this off. That's a 14mm right here. All right, let's find our 14 millimeter. Ooh. There's a 13, or is it a 13? Yeah, it's a 13, not a 14. Yeah. And we got to get a wrench above that. Oh, let's see. I didn't bring a 13 millimeter wrench out here. I just knew this was going to end up being a every 2-minute trip back inside the shop. Let me grab my flashlight and look a little better. Yeah, we're going to have to get a wrench on top of it. We'll just use this one since it's handy. Loose enough to slide it off. Slide it off that little hanger there. Let's loosen it a little bit more. There we go. Now we've got it loose up here. There we go. We can just pull it down and just pull this out. I'm going to slide off from under this thing. I'm just going to give this thing a good yank. Ooh. Man, that thing is on there. That thing is on there. I guess we'd be better off just pulling it loose from the tank up there. Whew. It's going to be hard to get a tool on that clamp. All right, let's get this harness unplugged up here. Oh, you got to pull this pin out. Even that's going to fight us. Let me see if I can get closer to it. Ooh. Get rid of that pad I'm laying on. It's just hindering me. How does that? How does that come out? I know you got to pull this pin somehow or another without breaking it. There we go. Has little ears on it. Okay, let's not lose that. Now this should just unplug. There we go. Oh, we got something. Now this big thing's in the way. Okay, now we got to get these small hoses off. That's probably going to be another chore. Oh, good. We got to get that clamp off, and then we got to get this small clamp here off. So let's work on that. Break the seal on that. This is some kind of an emissions line or something. Force that off. might have it. There we go. We got that one off. Oh, man, this is a lot of work. Okay, is that one a 7mm or is it it's a quarter? Change sockets. See if we can get the impact in there and hit that other hose clamp right there. Get it on there. All right, we got it. Whew. Man, I need a car lift. This is why I don't like working on cars. Get that clamp off there. Try to break the seal. Find something to pry against. I don't believe we've got nothing to pry against. There we go. One of these is going to be a vent, probably another one's going to be a return. Yeah, that's going to be a return. Let me grab my clamps. I should have done that first. That's what I was trying to avoid, was wallowing in this mess. Whew. Rest my head a little bit. Boy, my neck sure does hurt. Okay, so we got these hoses still with. We got the harness unplugged. We got these two lines unplugged. I don't see a ground strap anywhere. We'll probably find one when we lower the tank. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this fuel filter. I'm gonna unhook it here, take it loose here. That way the whole fuel filter and everything will go with it. And that's probably gonna be a 10mm, I would imagine. Or is it a 3/8? That was a 10mm. Where's my 10mm? There it is. Okay, now let's get this wrench here. Whenever you use an adjustable wrench, you're always going to go the wrong way the first time you try to adjust it. All right, and that other one I believe is going to be a 16. Yeah. Hey, it actually loosened. Nothing should really come out of here because it's above the fuel level. Oh, well, I'm wrong about that. It's running back out from the engine. Yeah, running all down my armpit. Ain't that nice? Let it run out, I don't care. Ooh, I'm gonna smell like that for days now. That on my skin. All right, that can go out with the, all right. The only thing we're gonna have a problem with is this, because it whooped us. We couldn't get it off. Man, that's some stinking stuff. All right, the last thing we need to do, take the two strap bolts out up there. See, there's one right there. There's one right there, 15mm. Let's do that. Let's stay in school. I'm gonna get out from under here. I'm gonna hit pause. I gotta get the jack set up and rest for a minute. You'll hang with. Alrighty, I got the jack under there. And I believe all we gotta do now is get them straps unbolted and just work it out. Yeah, I dread this more than you. Let's do it. All right, let's get in here, boy. I ain't crawling under it. Well, let me get that can of WD out of the way. All right, 15mm. There's one. Give me my tool back. There's one strap. Let me check that jack, make sure it's So they're pretty good. All right, now we'll go over to the other side and get the other strap. If we can see it. Where is it? I put that wheelbarrow right in my way and didn't move it. All right, here's the other strap. Well, I don't know where that bolt went, but it's not important. Okay, I believe all we got to do now is lower the jack. We're gonna have to work it around this park and brake cable and the exhaust pipe. All right, let me let the jack down. Ooh. Here it is. And we got more fuel pouring out over there. That's coming out of the fuel filter. Ooh. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. Get this fuel filter unhooked from that and push it over the axle. Okay. Lower the jack on down. Yeah. Get it out of there. Fuel tank is ours except for this pipe right here. Where are we? Let me look in here. Grab my flashlight. See if anything else is hanging. There's the wires. We have them unhooked. Creepy crawly heaven in there. Okay, the only thing holding this thing is those straps and this hose. Let's see, we've got it wedged. I'm gonna have to end up getting them hoses off because that's gonna be right in the way, because we gotta go straight down with it because I got that jack stand right in the way. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do. Boy, those hoses are right in the way. I'm thinking about just cutting them. I don't know if I can find some more though. Okay. Check those straps up there. I don't believe we'll have to take them other side of the straps loose. But right now it's laying on the exhaust pipe. If I can at least get them disconnected there. Let me hit pause. I'm gonna work on that right there now that I can get to it easier. I ain't gonna make y'all watch. It's gonna be a struggle. Y'all hang with. All right, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. What I did was, I got it now. It didn't take just a minute or so. I just put my foot on that wheel well up there and just kept twisting on it, and we got that off now. Okay. Now if we can just push this over somehow. There we go. It's hanging on the fuel filter. I don't want to bend it. Yeah, the only thing holding it now is the fuel filter. I'm trying not to bend anything. There we go. See, all this is going to be off when we go to put the tank back on. So it'll be easier and it won't be so heavy. Oh God, this thing feels pretty heavy. It may have a lot of fuel in it. There we go. It's just resting on the, let me grab that bolt. Right now it's resting on the exhaust pipe and that parking brake cable. So what I need to do, see, it's up against the darn jack stand. I need to twist it towards me. Should have known better to put that jack stand right there. Yeah. Maybe we can go out this way since I've got the hoses out of the way under the axle now. We can probably go this way with it and pull it. Yeah, we got more fuel running out. Ooh, that stuff stinks. Let me get on the other side. There's a real bird in the way. Okay, looks good over here. I think all I gotta do is go back on that side over there and pull it towards the front of the car and yank it. I ain't really worried about it smashing the ground because it's still cradled by this other cradle here. I don't want to bend it. Feels like I might have that thing bent. Foot is right against that jack stand. I may have to get the jack and move it. I can just get it to clear a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move this jack stand. Let me hit pause. I'm gonna pick up all these tools and jack this thing up right here with the jack and get that out of the way for now. Yeah, let me hit pause. Alrighty, I got it jacked up right there. I got the jack stand moved to the axle, and I still got these 3 wheels, so I think I feel pretty safe. Okay, let's pull this bad boy out of here. Go. It's a boy. Putting it back in is going to be a pretty simple thing because it's going to be empty, it's going to be light, the hoses and everything are going to be off of it. All you got to do is just stick it under there, get it on top of that exhaust pipe and just kind of get the bolts back in the, you know, jack it up and put the bolts back in the straps. So all right, well, it ain't too awful heavy, it ain't got much in it. But well, let's get it in the shop, let's pull these hoses off and everything and pull this off, and we'll get the sending unit out because we're going to go get a new sending unit. There it is. Removing a fuel tank off an 87 Chevrolet Cavalier. Same thing as a Pontiac or Buick branded, whatever, same car. Whether it's a 4-door, station wagon, 2-door, whatever. This is covering years 83 to 91. All right, boys, let's get this thing in the old shop on the table. All right, there she is. This thing had a lot more fuel than I thought. I was barely able to carry this thing in here. It is pretty full. So let's vacuum this thing off. I don't have the tool to pop this loose, but I think you can use a hammer and chisel or something. We'll see if we can get this off, because I'm going to take this with me and the fuel filter, take it to NAPA and get the OEM parts to replace it. Get it cleaned off, get it dumped out, cleaned. I'm gonna see what kind of shape it is in on the inside. But it's cleaned off. After we're done, I'm going to hose it off real good. You can see where it was rubbing the body a little bit. There. I'm going to take a piece of that 3M double-sided tape and stick on there. Keep it from chafing. Yep. All right. The book says to use a J24187 tool, but really all you gotta do is take a hammer or something and let's give it a try, because I want to get this out. This whole thing's gonna come off as one piece. Let's grab a little hammer and kind of a dull chisel. I don't want to cut into it. Here's a dull blunt chisel. It's this piece here that's got to move. Yeah. See how it's turned and these stops are hitting? So we just got to go that other direction with it without hurting it. Try not to cause no sparks. You know, this thing is full of fuel, even though it's stale. Trying to figure out how far I need to go with it. Guess we'll keep going. This cutout there and here needs to be where these tabs are sticking over. There we go. The reveal. Working out past that float right there. There we go. There we go. I'll set this over here. Now let's grab the flash. Oh, I left all my flashlights outside. Here's one. Yeah, let's run out there. I left that flashlight Johnny got me. I left it stuck under the car and it's still burning. Sorry, Johnny. There it is, way over there, stuck to the axle. I wonder how many people lose their flashlights because of that, leaving them stuck under the car. right, let's see what we got to deal with here. Oh yeah, see, looks like it's got a little chamber in there. That's the filter that covers this. It hangs down from here. Yeah, see that? That's all Michigana. I figured it'd just be just open. I didn't know it'd be having all these baffles and stuff in it. All that stuff right there, it's fell back down in there. All right, let's grab a couple of big old buckets. We'll suck out what we can. It is awfully stale. I can't tell you when the last time I put gas in this car. It's been years. It has been years. It don't look too awful bad though. I'm happy with it. I'm impressed. Need to check that rubber gasket. Yeah, something has come apart. There's something inside this. Something inside the sending unit. Yeah, the more I pump it, the more yellow it's getting. Yuck. Man, this thing was close to being a third to a half full. I mean, I know it's not a very big tank. Yeah, this bag, if I can get my hand in there, I'll grab it. Where did it go? It's over there. Every time I grab it, it just disintegrates. Yeah, I'm just chopping this thing to pieces in there. I can't grab a hold of it. Well, I'll get my hand stuck in there, I'll never get it out. Ooh. As sharp as that is. Okay, let's see. Let's keep draining it. At least it's not all rusty like I was afraid it'd be. Keep sucking up pieces of it. Yeah, now I gotta go to the bathroom. Whew. I bet you there's close to 5 gallons of gas in this tank. 5 or 6 probably. Yeah, look how dark it's getting. Yikes. I was thinking this thing was almost empty. Yeah, the more we pump, the yellow it's getting. The yellower. Okay. I've had this car for 29 years, and I know the car's 38 years old now, and I don't ever remember having to replace this, so this could be original. This is broke. You see how it's just come all apart right there. Okay, I am going to run to NAPA, get a new sending unit and filter. Might as well go ahead and get a new battery too. I got it sitting over on the shelf. I bought it. How old is that battery? I put that battery in there. September of 2012. That's been almost 13 years. So you know that battery's bad. But I don't buy my batteries at NAPA anymore. Last two I bought, I got them home and they were just 2 or 3 bolts in them. Took it back. She, well, let me test it. She's got this crazy contraption she tests it with, and she said, yeah, this is a bad battery. It's the second battery I got from NAPA in less than 2 or 3 years for different cars. That I know NAPA's a place to go to get OEM stuff, but not batteries. I go to Walmart to get my batteries. Okay, y'all hang with. When I come back, we'll have some new parts. All right, we got what we need. Got a new fuel pump to replace that one. It comes with all this, 2 different styles of vehicles. We'll use this one. Comes with all this stuff. I don't know what that stuff's for. It comes with a new O-ring. You always want to replace that, and I don't know what that little hose is for. Okay, we got a new strainer. This is what sits on the very bottom. And this is what was left of the old one. The other one disintegrated. And we got a new fuel filter. Pow. Replace that one. I picked up this, not knowing it probably came with one, but I ordered a new. Let me set the camera down here. 579001. It comes with a new lock ring and an O-ring. I went ahead and bought this. So which one does this one come with? Yeah, it's that one. But we'll set them aside because we're going to use this. I'm not going to replace the lock ring because I am not taking all that apart to get that off. No. Okay. Okay. It says, you can see what this thing looks like. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. It says right here, 83 to 91 vehicles to replace the fuel pump. Release fuel pressure, disconnect negative battery cable, raise it, support the vehicle, drain, remove the fuel tank, remove the lever sending unit from the tank and remove it. That's what we did. And remove the fuel pump from the fuel level sending unit. Pull the fuel pump up into the attaching hose or pulsator while pulling out from the bottom of the support it sets in. After the pump is clear of the bottom support, pull it out of the rubber connector or pulsator for removal. Okay. Okay. To install it, position and push the pump into the hose, install the level sending unit back into the tank, using a new O-ring, and that's what we're going to do. All right, it says to remove this thing. Let's get this old O-ring off here. Wow. There's the old one. Here's a new one. Okay. It says to disconnect the wires going to it. Ooh. Nasty. And it says to push up and pull it out of the support. And then pull it out. Just like that. Save your little bumper. There's an old one, it was just like that. I can't get this sound deadening pad. See, look there. Yeah. All that does is holds the sound of it down a little bit so you don't hear it. But that's all right, I don't mind hearing it. Grab a rag here. I got that stuff all over me now. Okay. To install the, don't forget to take that off. To install the new one is reverse. Cram it up in there. And put this little joker on just like that. And that will set it in there just like that. Let's bend it back a little bit. Okay. Now we'll put the strainer back on it. The new one. Wow. I was going to tell you the part number for the fuel pump stuff, but I don't see it. Yeah, that's a FS0177. And I guess that's for the strainer. And this is a FE0115-11B1 for the fuel pump itself. And the fuel filter is 23481. And you have to position this thing so it don't interfere with the, you don't want that, so we'll go this way with it. And you just kind of press this on. Press it on just like that. And that will sit in there just like that. Get O-ring. Plug the wire back in. You got to inspect these wires, make sure they're not burnt or hurt. Just like that. And there's your sending unit. Okay. Alrighty, we'll go back over here. That's a big monster looking thing, isn't it? I got the fuel tank drained all the way and cleaned. Flushed it out. Okay. Strainer goes in first. Somehow or another. Well, have to go in. Well, maybe it goes like that. There's only one way to get this thing in there. There we go. I took the wet vac and vacuumed all that back out again. And that will sit in there. I'll see you in another 29 years, Mr. Fuel Pump. This thing started in there. That new plump O-ring is kind of tough on it. All right, let's get a little chisel. We'll put it back on. All right, grab a hammer. Grab a little hammer and punch. I'm not going to use that big old punch I used last time. I don't want to knock that fuel tank off the table. We'll find another punch. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll use that one. Get it under that tab right there to get it started. Yeah. Push down on it real good and get it under there. Get it under there. Okay. And these go all the way around to this tab right here hits right there. I'm going to use a screwdriver because this thing is a little sharp. A little sharp. I can feel it digging in. And I don't want to do that. Get that thing on there just right. Just keep working it. It's almost there. Yep, we're there. All right. There's that. Now let's spin this thing around. I already tightened these back up. And that's going to be up there just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and replace this. This here just comes off like that. So it has to go up there. I didn't have to take this off. I didn't realize it wasn't made onto it because the new one just come without it. And I'm like, well, all right, let's grab some tools. This thing's light as a feather now. It won't be hard to get it back in there. Flow, just like that. It goes towards the engine. All right. I'm not sure what size that is. I put a 21, which was too tight, and a 22 wouldn't take it off because it was way too loose. And the 13/16 was equivalent. I couldn't figure out if it's metric standard. It's probably standard being from NAPA. Grab a little rag. But for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what size it was. Ooh, that thing holds a lot of fuel. Good enough. Lay this on the tongue of the trailer out there so it'll evaporate. Okay. I didn't put this bumper back on there. As you can see, this thing is coming apart and it's rotten. Yeah. Just like that other strainer there, it come apart. It was completely gone. It was in pieces. That's what the black pieces were in the bottom of the tank you saw was this thing. It had completely deteriorated. And that is number 6. That's just a sound insulator. Number 5 is a sound isolator sleeve. And number 3 is that little bumper, which is okay. It don't really do nothing. Yeah, look at there, it's coming apart. Look at that. Yeah, I'm not putting that back in my tank. Okay. Let's put this new filter on there. Flow that way. Make sure that O-ring is good. Looks pretty good. Give it a good snugging. Put this back on there. Just like that. I may take that back off to get this tank back in there. Okay, there we go. Whew, well wrapped, boys and girls. I still got to run to Walmart and get a new battery. I guess part 3 of this video, I need to end it because it's pretty long now. Part 3 is going to be putting the tank back in, hooking everything back up, filling it full of fresh gas, getting a new battery. We're going to fire that thing up, man. See how she runs, if she'll run at all. Here, it's been a long time since I cranked it up. Oh, well, all right, boys and girls. Thanks for watching another Tom Lily video. Trying to get the old Cavalier back on the road. I got all my little pieces on top of it ready to go. It'll be ready to go back in. And I'm tired. I've been doing this all day long. Tune in to part 3. Love y'all, boys and girls. Take your vegetables and eat your vitamins. Love each other. Holler if you need me. I'm tired. I ain't got hardly nothing to work on. Yay! We'll catch y'all in part 3. Love y'all.